Do you know any woman, young or old, who walks around saying, "My hormones are amazing. I feel incredible. I've never had more energy or clarity"? Yeah, me neither. And why is that? Well, we've been taught to dread our hormones, to expect them to betray us, to power through the exhaustion, the mood swings, the fog, to believe that this level is some of suffering is just the price we pay for being women. But what if I told you that your hormones are not the enemy? What if I told you they are your superpower? I was trained in modern medicine. I practiced for years. And even with all that knowledge, my body eventually hit a wall. I had a health crash in the middle of my own perimenopause journey. And it wasn't until I stopped trying to control and silence my symptoms and started aligning with the way I was actually designed to thrive that everything changed. Your body is not broken, it's brilliant. And your hormones, they're not chaos. They are coded intelligence. They are the translators between your brain and your body, helping regulate energy, mood, metabolism, your immune response, libido, temperature, sleep cycles, and more. Hormones are chemical messengers, but they are also life shapers. They dictate how you experience the world, how deeply you sleep, how motivated you feel, how connected you are in your relationships, how steady your energy is, and how clearly you think. Let me show you how to crack the hormone code. We are living through a hormone crisis. Over 80% of women experience hormonal symptoms during perimenopause: fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, sleep struggles, hot flashes, weight gain, and more. Over 6 million women in the US have been diagnosed with PCOS, and most have not been properly diagnosed or treated. 1 in 5 women faces clinical depression. And every 12 minutes, a woman is prescribed an antidepressant, often for symptoms that could be traced back to hormone imbalance. Autoimmune disorders are on the rise, and every 10 minutes, 12 hysterectomies are performed. 13 million women have diagnosed thyroid disease, many of them mismanaged. Our hormones are under attack from every direction. Relentless stress, inflammatory foods, nutrient deficiencies, blood sugar swings, toxins in our homes, sedentary lifestyles, and emotional burnout. And the result? We just don't trust ourselves anymore. We don't understand our cycles. We think PMS is normal. We ignore the exhaustion, irritability, weight gain, brain fog, and we assume that hormone suffering is just the tax we pay for getting older and being female. But here's what no one is saying: your symptoms are not failures. They are your body's way of waving a white flag, screaming for your attention, not to punish you, but to invite you back home to the way you were designed. You're not falling apart. You're being invited back into alignment. Let's take estrogen, for example. It's vital to both men and women. It regulates mood, metabolism, energy, fat distribution, and more. But it must stay in balance. And here's where it goes sideways. When cortisol, your stress hormone, rises, estrogen tends to rise too. Why? Because your body does what you ask it. And when you ask it to make stress hormone, it does. It actually converts progesterone into cortisol. That's called the pregnenolone steal. And when your progesterone drops because of this, the estrogen becomes unopposed. The result is a cascade of symptoms like belly and thigh fat, poor sleep, low mood and anxiety, breast tenderness, fibroids, and even heavy cycles. And cortisol doesn't rise alone. Anything that raises that stress hormone also raises estrogen, like processed sugar and carbs, alcohol, poor sleep, environmental toxins, and harmful gut bacteria. And the more cortisol and estrogen you produce, the less space there is for progesterone. And that's your calming, sleep promoting, mood balancing hormone. On top of this, we're swimming in a sea of toxic estrogens called xenoestrogens. These are estrogen mimicking chemicals that are found in plastics, fragrances, beauty products, and pesticides, and they confuse your body, overload your hormone receptors, and keep you in a state of estrogen dominance. This pattern of high cortisol, low progesterone, and high estrogen is the hormonal storm that's affecting millions of women. But you are not powerless. Your body is brilliant. And when you learn to listen to the signals, you unlock healing. Hormones aren't just about reproduction, they're about energy, clarity, sleep, metabolism, creativity, and even emotional power. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" learn to ask, "What is my body trying to tell me?" Because when you start listening, everything starts changing. And this is where the real shift happens. Once we stop silencing our symptoms and start tuning in, we can begin to realign with how our bodies were designed to function. Let me walk you through the four most important hormonal keys to help you reclaim balance, energy, and vibrancy. This is the hormone shift framework. Number one is insulin. Insulin is the absolute most important hormone when it comes to balancing your female hormones. When insulin is high, so many things go wrong in your body. Higher insulin leads to lower sex hormone binding globulin, which means that you have more estrogen circulating around, which leads to estrogen dominance. High insulin also contributes to blood sugar crashes, energy swings, and cravings that keep the cycle going. We can lower insulin and reduce insulin resistance by dramatically reducing the processed sugars and refined carbs we take in, by focusing on whole foods, healthy fats, protein, and fiber, and by building muscle, but we'll get to that next. Some Young Living products that are so good for this are Ningxia Red, which supports stable energy and blood sugar, and the Sleek products, which are natural tools for curbing cravings and reducing glycemic spikes. If you don't address insulin, you will never fully balance your other hormones. Insulin is the queen bee when it comes to hormones. The second stabilizer of our hormones and balancer of our hormones is lean muscle. We experience a loss of lean muscle after age 30, and if we don't do something about it, this can be catastrophic. Loss of muscle means loss of energy, loss of metabolism, loss of stability, and even loss of the freedoms of the things we want to do. Strong muscle means we have better mood and energy, stronger bones because the muscles pull on the bone to keep them strong and dense. We have lower inflammation, higher metabolism, and a longer, more independent life. Having strong muscle is about freedom. The freedom to hike, dance, surf, travel, stay active, and my favorite new hobby, chasing grandbabies. You get to live life on your terms when you build lean muscle, and it supports metabolism and it supports healthy hormones. Every time you pick up a weight or take a walk, you're casting a vote for a stronger, longer, and more joyful life. And there are some Young Living products that I love for this, like Amino Wise for muscle recovery and repair, Ningxia Nitro for clean pre-workout energy, and even Deep Relief and Panaway for sore muscles after training. The third pillar of hormone balance is stress. Stress is not just emotional, it's hormonal. And every time you experience chronic stress, your body responds with cortisol changes. Cortisol is essential for short-term survival, but when it stays high, it steals from your body's progesterone, leaving you estrogen dominant. It increases body fat and blood sugar and disrupts sleep and libido. It also weakens your immune system and lowers your energy. Remember, the same stressors that raise cortisol also raise estrogen. Some top hidden stressors here are refined sugars and alcohol, chronic sleep deprivation, toxin overload, and emotional burnout. Add in the xenoestrogens that we talked about earlier, those fake estrogens from the environment, and we've got hormonal overload. The good news is your body is the most powerful pharmacy on earth. When you give it the signal of safety, nourishment, and connection, it knows how to heal itself. We have amazing products in Young Living that help with detox, one of which has just been released, that once your body is armed with the products that can help you, you can help your body help itself. The fourth driver of hormone balance is fuel. We must have the food that heals and brings life to our body. If your hormones are messengers, then what you eat is the ink that writes the message. Your body is designed to heal, but it needs the raw materials, the nutrients, to do its job. And every bite you eat is either telling your body you're safe, nourished, balanced, you have what you need, or you're under threat, you don't have what you need. You need to store fat. You need to hoard stress. Every hormone your body produces, from estrogen to progesterone to cortisol, begins with cholesterol. It's essential. Cholesterol becomes pregnenolone, which is the mother hormone, which then gets converted into DHEA, progesterone, estrogen, cortisol, and testosterone. And here's where it gets tricky. When your body's under stress, it prioritizes cortisol. And when your diet is nutrient poor and too low in healthy fats, the raw materials for your reproductive and feel-good hormones simply aren't there. And the result is hormonal chaos. Common nutrient gaps in women with hormone issues are omega-3s, magnesium, B vitamins, trace minerals, and fiber. How to fuel good hormone health is to eat whole, colorful, living foods, to build every meal around protein, healthy fat, and fiber, to add fermented foods to nourish your microbiome, which is critical for estrogen detox, and to drink plenty of filtered water, and to reduce caffeine and sugar, both which spike cortisol and deplete your key nutrients, and to supplement with targeted, powerful support that works with your body's design. You were made for this. Breathe this in. You are not broken. You are not crazy. And you are not too late. You have simply been disconnected from the wisdom, rhythm, and brilliance that's already alive in your body. The symptoms you're having that you've tried to silence, they're not failures. They're sacred signals. Your body is waving a white flag, asking you to listen, to slow down, to come home. And when you do, when you stop numbing or overriding or dismissing those signals, and when you start honoring the way you were designed, you will start to feel better than you felt in years. Remember, insulin is the silent force behind hormone chaos. Muscle is not just about appearance, it's about how long and how well you will live. And stress is biochemical, not just emotional. And nutrition, good nutrition, is vital. It's the fuel for good, healthy hormones. And most importantly, you have tools. You have the access to good food, these rituals that you can build. You have the authority. You are not at the mercy of your hormones. You are in partnership with them. So let me ask you, what do you want your body to create for you today? What kind of energy do you want to carry into your home, your calling, your relationships? What kind of legacy do you want to embody for your children, your friends, your future self? Because here's the truth. You were never meant to drag through life disconnected, depleted, and discouraged. You were meant for clarity, strength, joy, connection, creativity, and impact. And when you live aligned with how you were made, you will become so magnetic. Nothing can stop you. You have access to the best tools in the world. Use them, share them, and live your most amazing life at every age.